Are you ready?
Shop like a VIP with the HSN credit card. Apply now and instantly get $10 off when you're approved. As an HSN card member, you'll get all kinds of perks, like extra flex on jewelry, beauty, and fashion purchases all day, every day. Plus VIP financing, VIP easy returns, exclusive offers, and there's no annual fee. Apply now. Call 1-800-695-1418 or search HSN card at hsn.com.
To do in this hour. Welcome aboard if you are channel surfing. Of course, the man who is responsible for the world's finest vitamins is here not only for a great first part of the year visit. We've got two today's specials to talk about. Of course, we'll begin with our circulation and vein support. And whether you sit a lot, stand a lot, retail, we used to call it the nurse's product. This is available special sizing and special pricing for one day and one day only. We wait for this. I mean, honestly, it is an amazing value. Andrew is going to give you all of the details. $60, $180, $360, $720 on any one of these, because this is where our pricing will be, and this is where our pricing is today. You are saving more than you are spending. And I have to say, whether your legs are talking to you at night, whether you are sitting behind a computer desk, whether you sit in traffic or you're in retail and you're standing, we love this product. But we also have available...
Just before we go into our full presentation
yes.
on circulation and vein support, what I wanted to do was just mention that probably in about a half hour, we're going to get to our turmeric, just to let everybody know in case you're going to go to sleep or something like that. We're going to talk about turmeric in about 30 minutes. And just quickly, this is our turmeric extract that overcomes the problems associated with turmeric, which is basically that you can't absorb it well, which means it can't work. And unfortunately, most turmeric products don't even consider that, but ours, and we complex it with fat, which is how in the Asian diet, that's what you effectively do when you cook with turmeric, you complex it with fat. The fat we use is the fat we just talked about, phosphatidylcholine. So it's supportive of the liver, supportive of the brain. And turmeric, again, there's a number of companies that will increase the bioavailability, the activity, the effectiveness of turmeric by combining with something called piperine. And piperine is a black pepper extract, and that black pepper extract can affect the absorption and the metabolism of drugs. I stay far away from those kinds of warnings and things. So we do it the natural way by complexing with fat, the way it's always been done traditionally and historically.
Absolutely.
So that's our turmeric. The best pricing ever is a today's special. We'll talk about that in a half hour. Now we're going to focus on our circulation vein support
and
first.
by the way, first time is a today's special as well on that turmeric as well.
Turmeric's never been a today's special.
Never been a today's special.
And so we'll
absolutely
hit that a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. So you got to keep your eye on me, Andrew.
Absolutely.
And somebody
should. I'm glad you're paying attention. Somebody needs to.
Exactly, for goodness sake. So we digress. Like I said, lots to get to. This is a once a year and once a year only value. As Andrew already indicated, he is our #1 reorder product. He is our lowest return rate, our most popular product. This is one of our customers' love letters. It's one of your most popular products here at HSN, and you do this once a year and once a year only.
Without question, I'd say it's the product that when folks get it home, it's the most astounding in terms of its benefits, in terms of its efficacy, in terms of the difference it makes. It truly is a see the difference product in terms of the appearance of your legs, your feet, ankles, and calves and veins, in terms of how they feel, in terms of how they feel at the end of the day, in terms of how they feel during the day, whether they feel restless, whether they feel heavy, whatever it might be, tingly. It's a product that you need to read the reviews on. It's not magic or airy-fairy, it's real science. There's a tremendous volume of clinical research supporting and establishing and proving the benefits of this product. So it's an exciting product. I'll get into some of the reviews, I'll read some of the science, but Shannon can show you some of the great savings, best pricing ever today.
Absolutely, 4.6 star customer pick average. So we do special pricing and special sizes for today and today only. Of course, that's 60, which by the way, that's even a little bit larger than we normally see. Quite often it's a 30. flexibility on that, what we call the starter size. So we have the 60, the 180, the 360, and the 720. A couple of things that make this so interesting, in addition to how well it works, and those customer reviews speak for itself. Normally, we typically top out at like a 360 in our largest sizes. We're doing a 720, so here's where the pricing will go. Here's your saving, our pricing today, and here are your savings. For example, in terms of the one time a year only special, you can double your capsule size, because this is where our pricing is. Here's our pricing today for the same price that you would spend on the 360 after today. And this is a product that it is feel the difference for sure. So any way you look at this, you are saving more than you're spending. You could double your capsule size for what you're spending for, you know, just on the 360. And for a product that not only delivers results, I have to say, not only a one-time only year product, but when you read those reviews, they are like a love letter on a product that in many cases people didn't expect to work.
Even beyond a love letter, they are passionate expressions of how a product has, say, transformed their life, has taken something that they've been experiencing most of their life or all of their life, and just made it an issue no longer. That they're, and I'll get to the reviews in a little bit, because I love the science first, because the science, this is not a product that was just pulled out of thin air, that's some magical herbal product. This is the product based upon serious science that originally, the template for this product, the blueprint from this product, came out of France. And for over half a century in France, diosmin, the key ingredient in this product, has been a key ingredient in a drug. Even though it's a natural ingredient, they positioned it and sold it for treatment of things as a drug. This natural ingredient, I prefer to establish it and position it really for its just natural benefits to circulation. So that's what we do here. And we'll talk about a little later also, that not only is it beneficial for circulation, our feet, ankles, and calves, but also throughout our body. And there are some interesting reviews we've even seen on things like hemorrhoids and things like that. So it's an interesting product. To just go over the formula here initially, when you look at the flavonoids, there's 720 milligrams of different flavonoids in here. Diosmin at 600 milligrams. Hesperidin at 100 milligrams, rutin at 20 milligrams. That's really a tip of the hat to the original formula that you see in Europe. Then what we did, this other ingredient, butcher's broom extract. Butcher's broom extract has about just as compelling research, not as great a volume as diosmin, but I'll be reading research on butcher's broom as well. We added that in the last several years. We added pine bark extract. We also added grapeseed extract. We actually doubled the level of butcher's broom extract for this Today special. So you're getting more butcher's broom extract as well.
Oh, wow.
So you're looking at a product that gives you not just the diosmin at 20% higher potency than when we introduced this over 20 years ago, which it originally was 500, but we've added all of these other ingredients as well.
So there's no other product that's formulated like this, and you were one of the first people, I think, who, first of all, there's no other product like this, but the first person that I ever heard to speak about that circulation.
No, there were some circulation products on the market a number of years ago, back even when I introduced this, but they were homeopathic, or none of them had the clinical science that I'm going to be able to read to you in just a few moments, and that's what makes this product so exciting. So if your feet, ankles, and calves don't look like they used to look, if your veins don't look as they did before, if, say, at the end of the day, your legs feel heavy, they just feel restless, whatever it might be, that this is a product that 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. It either works or you send it back. But this is not a product, as I said before, that's just based upon something that I made up. This is a product that's based upon clinical science, and it's the clinical science that provided the blueprint for this product.
Absolutely. So I remember, all you do is you pick your size of choice, the 60, 180, 360, or 720. The savings are incredible. Remember, we wait once a year and once a year only. It is you could literally double your capsule size for the same price as you will get on the 360 after this show or after today. Most of us are doing that 720 count size. And one quick word to the wise about that 720, since that's what most of you do. If you take a look at the bottom of your screen, if you buy the large size of this today's special and then the large size of our turmeric that we're gonna be doing in about 25, 30 minutes, you actually get another $10 off. Remember, turmeric has never been offered as a today's special. So that information is actually at the bottom of your screen. Free shipping, special flex pay. I know there's a lot of important information to share, but when you read those reviews, that's why I said it's like a love letter. We used to call this the nurse's product, and when Andrew first, we're gonna do it with a tape measure originally.
Well, and again, and that's in some of the research that talks specifically about that. But, and originally we called it the nurse's product because it seemed that so many of the original reviews we got came from nurses.
Right.
But I think it's hard to imagine someone in a profession, well, I guess in retail, or if you're a waiter or waitress, something like that, that you spend a lot of time on your feet, you work long shifts, you work on hard floors. So it's a product, if we sit too much, it's terrible for the circulation in our legs. If we stand too much, terrible for the circulation in our legs. But simply, the human condition, our heart is here. It must pump blood, which contains oxygen and nutrients, down to very distant tissues in our legs. And those are the most well-developed musculature in our body. It pumps those nutrients, oxygen down there. It has to carry the waste products back. There's no pump in our feet. Our veins are well designed, but as we get older, pooling and things start to happen. The valves in our veins and our legs don't work as well as they used to. We end up with all sorts of issues and problems, and that's what the aging process is in terms of the circulation in our feet, ankles, and calves, which I always say, other than maybe our coronary arteries, are the most problematic blood vessels in the human body. But I was gonna read just some research here quickly, and then maybe read some reviews. But if we look at some research here, and forgive the fact that it's technical, but I'm sure everyone could understand it. And this is from the International Journal of Angiology. The efficacy was clearly demonstrated, meaning the effectiveness was clearly demonstrated with a rapid improvement of functional signs in the first months, being maintained till the end of the study. The reduction of ankle and calf circumferences, meaning the size of our ankles and calves, is probably linked to a decrease in plasma filtration. What happens is our plasma, our blood, sort of leaks through the walls of our veins if our veins aren't well toned and healthy, through capillary walls. This fact confirms the positive role of diosmin with hesperidin on tissue microcirculation. From the International Journal of Microcirculation, the use of diosmin with hesperidin has been shown to improve venous tone, the tone of our veins, microvascular permeability, lymphatic activity, and microcirculatory nutritive flow. What that means is our veins will be less likely to enlarge, and our tissues in our legs will be less likely to swell. From Angiology, pharmacological and clinical studies, plural, demonstrated the comprehensive mode of action of diosmin with hesperidin, the key ingredient in here. It increases venous tone, better toned veins, improves lymph drainage, and it protects the microcirculation. Again, that means more toned veins, veins that won't enlarge, and tissues that will be less likely to swell. Diosmin with hesperidin, as a result of its comprehensive mode of action, addresses both the macro circulation and microcirculation at the same time. From Current Vascular Pharmacology, the clinical efficacy, effectiveness of diosmin with hesperidin in venous circulation has been, venous just means vein, it's an adjective for vein circulation, has been described by several randomized controlled studies, which is the best quality research, in which the rate of benefits was significantly shortened. Benefits happen sooner. An explanation for the ability to speed relief comes from the protection diosmin with hesperidin exerts on the microcirculation. Current Vascular Pharmacology. Sorry to keep reading different journals because this is clinically supported. Diosmin with hesperidin reduced venous distension and venous capacitance and improved venous tone in women with various degrees of venous complaints. Angiology, diosmin with hesperidin produced a significant decrease in venous capacitance, venous distensibility, and venous emptying time. Again, these are the things that we want to improve the circulation in our legs. In addition, these changes were accompanied by a decrease in the ankle and calf circumference. So that was just a few. Now perhaps I should read a few reviews.
Well, of which you have many. I mean, in case you missed it, it is a 4.6 star customer pick average, over 27, almost 3,000 reviews. Hey, by the way, I know you can see it is already off to a great start. Most of us are getting that large size, and that's certainly no surprise because you will start to feel a difference just as you do with all of Andrew's products, but very quickly. But when you do the large size of our circulation and vein support, biggest savings one day and one day a year only, and then when you also get our large size of our turmeric, which is our other today's special, first time ever, by the way, that's coming up in about 25 minutes or so, then we'll take another $10 off. So if you do large size of the circulation and then the large size of the turmeric coming up in about a half hour, $10 off, first time ever, only time of the year. And every woman watching the show knows at the end of the night, whether you can see those fashion wounds, you never try on shoes at the end of the night because you know it's a whole different story. They do.
And again, I think a lot of us, we just put up our hands and think this is the way aging is, and there's nothing we could do about it. And certainly, I think we're so convinced that the only way we really contend with aging is with medicines or drugs. And this is not a medicine or drug, but it does deliver tangible, visible, significant benefits. And 30-day money-back guarantee, it's my favorite product to talk about, I think just simply because we are so surprised and astounded by what it does when you get it home. But I'll read some reviews. And the reviews, again, if you look at the reviews, 90% of the reviews, approximately 90% of the reviews are 4- and 5-star reviews.
That's huge.
So a little over 80% are 5-star reviews and almost 10% are 4-star reviews. So that speaks volume for a product with this name and this benefit. So if we go here from Elena in New Jersey, amazing. This product is absolutely amazing. It started working within 2 weeks. My legs were swollen and tight as a drum. Always felt cold, and they looked like bowling pins. I'm 53 and overweight, but I've been going to the gym and my legs have always been a struggle. I cannot stress enough how great this product is. You will not be disappointed. I've had my family watching the change in my veins and legs. I've tried so many different things that didn't work. This product is a lifesaver. I highly recommend it. You will not be disappointed. It is worth every penny to me. Thank you for a great product from Elena, New Jersey. As I said, passionate reviews. It works. I used to wake up at night with leg cramps so bad I'd cry, and the muscles would be sore for several days. Since using this circulation and vein support, the only time I've had a cramp is when I know I've allowed myself to become dehydrated. I think I had the early signs of restless leg syndrome, but since using circulation and vein support, I can relax and not feel the need to keep moving. Thanks, Andrew Lessman. I use several of your products and haven't found anything bad about any of them. The difference in my veins is extraordinary. I wish I had taken pictures before I started taking this, but the size of my veins has shrunk and I'm loving it. I've not had twinges of discomfort in my legs since starting this. I wish I had bought the largest bottle. And once a year, we have a 720 capsule supply. And basically a 720 capsule supply, it's going to last you a year. So basically, it's about $10 per month.
Wow.
Awesome. I really love this circulation vein support. I was having trouble with my legs and veins and remembered that my sister told me she has taken this for many years. Her legs are wonderful with no signs of any vein problem or any varicose veins popping out like I have. So I decided that I needed to order some of these, and they have done wonders. I'm on my second bottle and will continue to take them. Outstanding product. I bought this product due to positive reviews, but I had no idea it would work as well as it has. My legs hurt so badly at night that I could not sleep. My feet were swelling also. This product is amazing. No more discomfort in my legs and feet, and the veins in my legs that were protruding are not anymore. You will see results in a short time also. I will never be without this product. By the way, 272 reviews use the word amazing.
Oh.
601 reviews use the word love.
Wow.
Not a day without it. Works so well. I wrote a review a couple of years ago saying that my varicose veins were shrinking and spider veins disappearing after taking this product for 2 to 3 months. My legs look even better now, and I'm assuming the benefits for all veins, not just legs, correct. Awesome. I've suffered with swelling feet and legs for several years. I've only been taking these a few weeks, but wow at the difference. I could feel the difference after the first day. Many people say that. I still have some swelling, but the discomfort is gone. I'm so thankful that I found this product.
And you know what, we hear that repeatedly. I mean, women are wearing skirts again, they're wearing shorts again. I mean, we hear and read reviews like that. So if you're watching this show, and whether you sit, whether you stand, whether at the end of the day you go to bed and your legs still want to keep going, I mean, we all know who we are. Andrew has made a product not only that delivers that see the difference product, many of those reviews were talking about not only in the appearance of how their legs looked, but you think about your arteries, you think about your veins, you think about that tone. And you do. The reason I know this is working for sure is you can always tell when you run out. We hear that repeatedly with all of Andrew's products. But boy, oh boy, if there was ever a day to try it, to put your toe in the water, so to speak, or to stock up, because you will want to take this every single day, special sizing, larger size than we normally see,
correct,
and special pricing, biggest savings of the year, and once a year only.
And if you were looking at this product in Europe, it would be dramatically more expensive. If we look at the product, and I've had this product available for a little over 20 years, and we originally brought Diosmin over. I'm not aware of any other company in the US that was offering Diosmin back at the time we brought this over, back in the 1990s, I guess, yes. So it's an ingredient that we brought over here in Europe, as I said before, recommended by medical doctors for their patients' healthy circulation, their legs, and other issues, but it's really positioned there more as a medicine, more as a drug. Here, it's positioned as a natural product to offer natural support. It's a natural ingredient that's found. These are basically polyphenols that are present in the rind of citrus fruits or in rosemary spice. So it's just a polyphenol that happens to exert at least Diosmin, a wonderful benefit on the circulation, the macro and the micro circulation in our feet, ankles, and calves, and throughout our body. We just notice it there. And as we get older, you know, the veins in our legs, our feet, ankles, and calves, they don't look the same. Those tissues change, but there is something you can do about it. And it's, again, I'm sorry, it's not a drug. I think if this was a drug, people would be a lot more excited about it. They probably expect to pay more for it. So for literally about, what is it, about 30 cents a day, 2 capsules a day, easy to swallow, ultra-fine powder. I'll open a capsule here. So it's a small capsule, as we can see there, tiny capsule, nice, easy to swallow, ultra-fine powder. It's like dust.
Look at that.
So it will not upset your stomach, and all you're looking at there, those are the extracts. Right. It's just, it's made from citrus. So again, and then there's butcher's broom extract. There's the grapeseed extract as well with its oligomeric proanthocyanidins, the OPCs. And then you also get pine bark extract. So the product, and for today's special, we add double the amount of the butcher's broom extract. So as well reviewed as this was when I introduced it, it's an even better product today, even higher potency today. And it's the lowest price it's ever been. Plus we offer that special large size that's a year's supply that will last you until next year's Today's Special.
And all with free shipping, special flex pay. And remember a 30-day money back or 30-day guarantee. And you just heard a couple of reviews where people feel a difference very, very quickly with this. You really aren't going to need that 30-day satisfaction guarantee. But if you are watching this show, you're watching this show for a reason. I know you're learning something. If your legs are keeping you up at night, if they're making you uncomfortable, if they are keeping you from doing the things that you want. One of the reasons that Andrew does this in January, kind of that new year, new you concept, is maybe your legs, that swelling, the tone of your legs, maybe it's keeping you from doing your job effectively, playing with your grandkids or getting on the treadmill. For a lot of us out there, those challenges are inhibiting our life. And that, as you know, you can't put a price on that. So when we think about how this really enhances your daily life, it does it very, very quickly. Like we said, 30-day unconditional satisfaction guarantee, biggest sizes, best pricing. Remember, most of us, you can see it's wildly popular already. Most of us are doing the large size on both the circulation and vein and the turmeric, which will give, you know, full justice in a few minutes, in about 15 minutes time. But if you choose the large on both, then it's what we call a special savings or bonus buy. Then you'll be taking $10 off. And boy, oh boy, whether you struggle with swelling in your hand, hands like I do when I'm on the treadmill. I also struggle with my legs and actually bruising on my lower legs. That's something that you actually taught me, is that's where you can kind of see how hard your veins and arteries have to work.
Well, when the veins, when the walls of the veins aren't as well toned, when the capillaries are more fragile, you bruise more readily. And that's again something that the research and the clinical studies talk about. And it's something that as you get older, that your skin tends to thin, our skin becomes more fragile. So again, we either throw up our hands and say there's nothing we can do about it, or we actually pay attention to the research and the science, because again, I don't just make up formulas. What I do is I follow the research, the clinical science, and I use that as my blueprint. So I started with their formula. That's the blueprint, which I started with over 20 years ago. But then I actually improved on it, because I went to other clinical science for other ingredients that shared the same benefits. So you get even more opportunity to make a difference than any one of those isolated clinical studies, because I'm giving you ingredients that came from multiple different clinical studies. And again, the price is the best it's ever been. But I just grabbed some more. We had, I think, a couple of hundred charts here. So I just grabbed some that, it seems whenever I look at them, each review is better than the last.
Yeah, I agree.
And these were 156 to 160, so I guess I'll read 5 reviews here. But wow, what a wonderful product. I've suffered from swelling and discomfort in my legs and feet every day since and before I had my knees and hips replaced. And again, so many of us, as we get older, we're having surgeries on our knees or hips or ankles, even ankle replacements and things like that. But we don't think about the fact that circulation is critical to the healing of those tissues, and even ensuring that after a surgery, it takes a toll on our circulation, that we support that circulation. Both go hand in hand. This product really works for me. It has taken away that creepy feeling and leg jerking at night too. I ran out, waited for a couple of weeks to test it, and back came all my problems, so I ordered the big size. The first time I took it, I was working in the garden, came in and sat down, and it was about an hour later I noticed my legs were not experiencing any discomfort. I will not be without it again. Cannot be without. Pure miracle, pure genius product. Andrew, I adore you for being such a brilliant man and taking care of us and making us feel better, just when we think there may be no hope. That's sweet. I get leg cramps, tightness, and discomfort, and this totally helps relieve all of that. I'm just speechless and in complete awe of how this works. Thank you. From Lily in Ohio. I'm in awe of how this works.
Yeah.
I read the science, the clinical studies. What I'm surprised is that everybody doesn't take advantage of it.
Yes.
Because it's not only is it so effective, but it's actually so affordable too.
It is. Andrew, do you think it's because I think sometimes people believe it can't work, or they think there is no hope, like one of those reviews?
Well, I think justifiably so. I mean, we've all, especially in the days of the internet, when we see this product sold and that product sold, it's easy to become very cynical, very skeptical. But what's great, I've been here at HSN for 22 years.
Yeah.
I was at QVC for almost 6 years before that. So I'm not going anywhere. We make all of these products ourselves. HSN and QVC are not going anywhere. So this is not some fly-by-night internet advertisement. So this is a product that comes from credible companies, and I view my company as being a very serious manufacturer of dietary supplements, and we've been doing that for 40 years. So I think it has all the elements to maybe take a plunge, because I think a lot of us also, as I said before, we are so dominated by the influence of pharmaceutical companies. I mean, you can't watch TV hardly anymore without seeing their advertisements. But I think pharmaceutical industry is $1 trillion industry today. There are multiple pharmaceuticals that are bigger than the entire supplement industry. So I think what that does is it gives us a sense, and it's almost unavoidable, that's where we rely to see any kind of significant difference. We almost forget how powerful our diet is, how powerful lifestyle is, and how powerful a simple natural product like this can be. And of course, you don't have to believe us or trust us, because if this doesn't work for you, and this is a product you'll see the difference in less than 30 days, you send it back, comes back to me, complete refund.
Absolutely, and that's why I say, you know what, you read those reviews, and when people are talking about the tone and their varicose veins, and a lot of people, it has challenged your occupations. We hear many, many reviews. That's why we called it the nurse's product, where people were saying, I couldn't work those long hours. And we talk about things that not only compromise your life, but can actually take money out of your pocket. Whether you are challenged to sit for long hours or stand for long hours, there are reviews from teachers, there are reviews from postal carriers and people who work in retail.
Well, it's in what's interesting, it makes me think of that concept of not just, obviously the benefit of this product, your veins could look differently, the swelling in your feet, ankles, and calves, that's what the clinical science talks about. It's measurably, visibly different. But where I really notice the difference for me, I'm someone who I like to go for long mountain bike rides. Being on a bike, seated on a bike, hunched over a bike is not the best thing for your legs when you're at maximum effort for 2, 3, or 4 hours. And usually for me, what that means is later on, the last thing I want to do is even go out to dinner or anything. I just want to lay down. And usually in the evening, my legs would not be particularly happy when I try to go to sleep. But this has made all the difference in the world in terms of the way I recover from cycling. So I think we all have our own version of that, whether it's exercise related, whether it might be work related, whether it could be things like being overweight or suffering from type 2 diabetes or taking certain kinds of medications that impair the circulation in our legs. So we all experience whatever it is that might contribute to our feet, ankles, and calves not feeling or looking the way they did last year or 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. But we have reviews from folks who said for 50 years they thought there was nothing they could do about the way their legs felt or looked, and certainly decades of time, and this product has made a difference. So it's worth a try. I'm just going to read a few more reviews that I pulled from the bottom, toward the bottom of the stack here. Incredible. This product had to be reviewed. I really would not believe it if I didn't experience the incredible effect it has had on my life. After many doctor visits and treatment for leg discomfort over a 9-month period with no relief, and we don't add any of those things,
right.
No relief or change of any type, I decided to just give this a try. Here is the important issue. Within 1 week, I had minimal discomfort.
Wow.
And within 3 weeks, no discomfort. Thanks, Andrew, so much. I have my life back.
See?
And I think that person didn't believe me,
right.
Probably, and justifiably so.
Right.
But it's the clinical science. That's why I started reading the science first. Leg Saver. I worked in retail and stand on my feet all day. I recently ran out and took my time to reorder. My legs were miserable for the whole week until I received them. The swelling in my ankles went away, a tingle sensation gone. I could work 8 hours, then come home, complete my workout, and then go walking for 45 minutes. That's what I was going to talk about, the benefit of the benefit. It's not just your legs feeling better, it's your legs permitting you to live better, and to feel better, and feel better about yourself. I will never be without them ever again. From Nina in Texas. And we'll do one more. Vein support is the best. I've tried other supplements and they didn't work. Then I tried yours. It was like God sent me to you to find what I needed. My ankles were 3 times the size that they should be, and my legs were very, very heavy. After using your product for 3 weeks, it was gone. It was a miracle. I will keep using your product for as long as you make it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, I'm like tears in my eyes. Andrew, you're a lifesaver. I've been living with this for so many years, it wasn't funny. Now I can walk normal. Thomas in Illinois.
But you see that every single review, to Andrew's point, were probably people who thought there was nothing they could do. And I think these are issues that a lot of us, I know for myself included, it was my hands, it was my feet, it was, at night, getting through a night without, the muscle cramps and the discomfort, my legs wanted to keep going. We all know who we are. And you can't just say that there's nothing you can't do. And that's why we love that 30-day unconditional guarantee, because in almost every single review, you didn't need that 30 days. So for the lowest pricing ever, once a year and once a year only, special saving, free shipping, special flex pays, the 60, 180, and 360. Remember that 720 is a special size that Andrew is doing for today and today only. Here's where the pricing goes. Here's the pricing today and your savings. In any case, you're really saving as much or more than you're saving. You're saving more than you're spending, rather, and you can actually double your capsule size for the same cost as the 360 for today. Most of us are doing the large size on both. Turmeric's coming up in about 10 minutes or so, in which case you'll take another $10 off. And I know we're thinking about, yes, women and men, women are wearing skirts and shorts again. They're seeing physically a difference in the tone, the appearance of their veins, you know, the look of their legs, their lower appendages. And when we talk about your arteries, when we talk about your veins, even, and I'll say this as delicately as I can, the veins associated with elimination in the body. I mean, you know, so for that region. Well, I'm trying. Look, I'm trying to be discreet and proper.
The clinical studies also talk about supporting the vasculature, the blood vessels in our rectum.
Right. Yes. But I mean, it's an issue, especially as you get older. I mean, it really is. Everything changes as you get older.
A lot of us might struggle with constipation,
right.
And with constipation comes straining. The blood vessels can get damaged and enlarged, and
right.
So again, it's not a drug or a medicine or treatment for any medical condition, but to the extent those normal changes that had come with age, that come with our job, that come with overweight or obesity, it's worsened by smoking and things like that. To the extent we'd like an opportunity to make a difference, a visible, tangible difference, we should. And I just was going to read, this is on Butcher's Broom. We have a bunch of charts on Butcher's Broom, but Butcher's Broom is the secondary ingredient, and this is from, it translates to drug discovery. It's a German medical journal. It translates to drug discovery. And what is that? Arzneimittelforschung? Arzneimittelforschung.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, it's exactly. So, but it's just the beneficial effect of Butcher's Broom, which has been well established for centuries in the pharmacopoeia of the Mediterranean countries, is now clinically established.
Clinically
established, as is diosmin clinically established by its scientifically proven pharmacodynamic properties and clinical actions, meaning that it's been established to do what we're talking about, and they understand how it does it. So, and that's what I say, it's with diosmin, with Butcher's Broom extract, these are ingredients that have been shown to deliver the benefits that we're talking about, the benefits that you seek. And it's hard to imagine anyone who wouldn't want to embrace the opportunity, certainly at the end of the day, whatever, or during the day, sitting for extended periods of time or standing for extended periods of time simply strains the vasculature in our legs. I know that as active as I am, I suspect that the veins in my legs wouldn't look nearly as good as they do today.
It's true.
If I hadn't been taking this product for literally the last 22 years.
Absolutely. It's interesting because my makeup artist tonight, she's in her 20s. I am not, but I know you find that hard to believe.
Neither am I, yes.
But I mean this, I could not do this job if I were not taking this product. And because unless Andrew's here, that's one of the reasons that Colleen and I love him so much. He has these nice little mats that we can stand on. Right. Otherwise, we are standing on concrete floors. And I will tell you, at the end of the night, that's why I know this is working. But if I'm not using this.
Even for me, if you notice when I'm standing here, I just, I naturally, if you stand at work, I'm sure you already know this, the worst thing you can do is just stand and not move.
Yes.
That you want to move, you want to, because also by doing that and moving, you benefit from the very well-designed structure of our veins, that you utilize the musculature in our legs and the structure of our veins to move the blood up more efficiently. And so again, but those are things that those little sort of one-way little valves in our veins, they fail as we get older. And there are issues that as we get older, the blood vessel walls themselves are not as toned as they were. Those are the blood vessels that become enlarged. Also, as it talked about in some of the clinical studies, that plasma if that blood is lingering down there, that plasma can filter out of blood vessel walls that are not as toned. So the swelling is a natural byproduct of the changes that come in those tissues because of the aging process, also simply because of the fact that the way we live in so many ways, the way we live challenges those blood vessels. And even if you do everything perfectly for your entire life, those blood vessels are going to be challenged anyhow, simply because of the human condition.
Absolutely, but I think I would love to know how many people say life-changing on their reviews, because that's probably the most prevalent. I know I feel that about myself. When I have recommended this to people, they come back to me and they're like, I didn't think it would work. I didn't know it would work. So regardless, you've got a 30-day unconditional guarantee. You're not going to need that 30 days to see a difference. I actually get chills just even thinking about you trying this product. I get so excited because I know what a difference it's made for me, and I know what a difference it's made for the people that I love and care about and have recommended this to. Whether it's for you, somebody that you love and care about, I really hope that you try it today. Most of us are doing that large size because remember, it is something you are going to take every day. So the 60, the 180, the 360, this is a special size on that 720 for today and today only, and here's where the pricing will go. Here's our pricing today. Significant savings, obviously that speaks for itself, but one of the reasons everybody's going for that 720 is not just because best savings, sizes we don't see. You can see that over 10,000 already gone. Most of those are the 720 count. You're actually getting the 720 count today at $129.90 in flex pay for basically what you will, well, for exactly what you'll spend on the 360. So you're doubling your capsule size if you do that one-day only price and that one-day only size. Along with that, we'll talk about our turmeric today special in a few minutes. Remember, if you buy the large size in our circulation and vein and then the large size in our turmeric, then you're also taking $10 off to make it an even added incentive today, which a lot of you are doing.
Just going to read one more scientific chart on the circulation vein support on diosmin specifically. And then I was going to read, we just have some general background charts that most of which I've covered, but I know a lot of you like to see it in black and white. So this is from a scientific or medical journal called Oxidative Medicine and Cellular Longevity. Nowadays, due to its beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system, diosmin is one of the most desired natural compounds. Clinical trials showed that diosmin decreases the level of discomfort and swelling in patients with vascular circulatory issues because it improves lymphatic drainage and supports microcirculation. It also increases capillary resistance, vascular tonus, and vein elasticity, and reduces capillary filtration and capillary hyperpermeability. These are all things we want. It reduces swelling. It improves as I always say, if our blood vessels are more elastic, more flexible, they're more youthful, they're more healthy.
Right.
But just the basics of this product, circulation vein support for healthy legs, was specifically designed to address the visible and unattractive swelling of the veins in our legs, feet, ankles, and calves, the visible and uncomfortable swelling of the tissues in our legs, feet, ankles, and calves. And as I always say, it's as a result of age, overweight, obesity, inactivity, excessive standing or sitting, as well as numerous other health challenges and conditions. Smoking are one of the things, and things, whether it's type 2 diabetes, hypertension, all stress our legs. That's a repeated chart. That's interesting. We have two of the same chart. It's a natural blend of clinically established ingredients that support the healthy yet challenged circulation of the legs. It contains diosmin, hesperidin, butcher's broom, grapeseed, and pine bark extract. Visibly and noticeably promotes and protects the leg's fragile capillaries and veins while maintaining blood vessel tone. I mean, that's the basic concept of the product. I would encourage you to read the reviews. As we said before, over 90% of the reviews are 4- and 5-star reviews alone. So the substantial majority of the reviews, all but a handful, are really perfect and wonderful reviews and gives you a sense of what you can expect. And again, 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. This is a product that normally we wouldn't do a 30-day supply. We would only do a smallest size, say at 60 capsules if you look at this product, which is 30 days.
Yep.
And that's absolutely plenty to see the benefits.
It absolutely is. So remember, choose your size of choice, and a lot of us are doing both. A lot of us are doing the large size on the circulation and vein and the large size of the turmeric, but I'm excited for you. I really am. Whether you're an avid fan like I am, and you know this is the day that we wait for, this is the day that we stock up, or you're trying it for the first time, maybe one of those reviews really spoke to you. Maybe you do look at the end of your legs and your veins at the end of the day. Maybe your hands are swelling. Maybe you can't, maybe your dogs are talking to you. Maybe your legs want to keep moving when you go to bed. We all know who we are, whether you sit a lot, whether you stand a lot. I mean, honestly, it's savings that we will only see for today and today only. So just pick your size, and then of course, you know, honestly, with that 30-day unconditional guarantee, you will see and feel a difference. So 60, 180, 360, 720, obviously savings across the board, but most of us are gravitating to the larger sizes, especially since we are not doing the 720 after today. That is for today and today only. Biggest and only savings of the year. You can double your capsule size for literally the same price as you will spend on that 360, free shipping. And if you are getting both the large size on the turmeric, or on the circulation and vein, and then the large size on the turmeric that we have in just a few moments, you're taking another $10 off. Definitely a see the difference and feel the difference product. And if you have a moment, read some of those reviews. They almost make you want to cry, because it has made such a profound, life-changing effect on men and women who have tried this product. Even if you're just not happy with the tone or the appearance of your legs, but then you think about whether you've had a surgery, you think about your veins, you think about your arteries, you think about, you know, just how you feel at the end of the night. And this is making a significant difference for those of us who are using it.
And it's great. It's not a drug. It's not a medicine. There's no warnings of side effects or things that I have to talk to you about. And for so many of us, we're already taking so many medicines, and some of those medications affect our circulation. You could show this product to your doctor, as we've seen from so many of the reviews. The doctors see the product, not a problem at all. And the more research you do on the ingredients, the more confident you'll be in the benefits you'll experience.
Absolutely. So, let's do it.
Go over there.
All right, sounds good.
Talk about turmeric.
You know, I've been waiting for this.
Well, turmeric, it's a product that, it's like so many products that we have produced that I've talked about turmeric going back. I think I originally put turmeric in our World Health Formula.
Oh, wow.
Which was a formula that we talked about botanical extracts from around the world, the healthiest components from the healthiest diets around the world. Of course, turmeric from the Indian diet, from the Asian diet, from Asian cuisine, and that was over 25 years ago.
Wow.
And turmeric has an inherent problem. That problem only is really reflected when you're trying to get the benefits in a dietary supplement. Because typically when we use turmeric in food, we're cooking that food. And when we cook that food, generally, there are fatty components. We might cook it in a stew or things like that. And when turmeric complexes with fat, it becomes highly bioavailable. It becomes more effective. Unfortunately, if you take even the best turmeric extract, a 95% turmeric extract, that's not going to be the best supplement unless you complex it with fat. There's another methodology where they add piperine, which is a black pepper extract. The reason I'm not very fond of that, unfortunately, is because it also affects the metabolism of drugs in our body. And I think that's when you're creating a dietary supplement, you just don't really want to create a product, at least in my mind, that has those issues associated with it. So what we do is we complex it. We do it the natural way. When you look at the Indian diet, the reason why turmeric delivers benefits is because in the Indian diet, it's naturally complexed with fat. The fat we chose to complex it with is phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine is the principal phospholipid in the liver and in the brain. And turmeric, most people, I think, if you look at the long list of why people embrace turmeric, many people embrace turmeric for its detoxification benefits for the liver. Many people embrace turmeric for the benefits for the eyes, its protective benefits for the eyes. Many for the protective benefits for the brain. But I think top of the list are the soothing benefits for the joints. And I was just reading a number of great clinical studies on that today.
Absolutely. That's actually the first reason I started taking this. And so, as always, Andrew does this in a way that no one else does. But by the way, he's never done this as a Today's Special, ever. So the fact that he's doing it as a Today's Special in sizes and prices that we will not see again this year, boy, if there's a time to sit up and take notice and take advantage of it, thousands of these were already spoken for. So remember, a one-day only value. This is going to be an abbreviated airing, and then you'll see an encore of Andrew and I next hour. The 30, the 60, the 120, 240, and 360. We do not do that 360 on a regular basis. So that is being done for today and today only. Here's where the pricing is. Here's where your pricing is today. Savings that are remarkable. And most of us, I understand, are doing the large size of both, in which case you're saving another $10 off. But this is the first and only Today's Special on turmeric that has ever been offered. Whether you started or wanted to take it for your joints as I did, the side benefit, the soothing properties for my digestive system, for my brain, for my eyes, certainly for my liver, but no one does it in the way that you do.
Well, there are now other companies out there using a phospholipid complex. So we're not alone.
Okay.
We're not alone in doing that, but we were probably out there before anyone else doing it, I would say. So what I'm more concerned about is most of the turmeric products on the market don't even make an effort to overcome the inherent unabsorbability of turmeric. Turmeric, the fundamental problem with turmeric is it's an incredibly potent and beneficial ingredient, but it resists absorption. It's quickly cleared. So unfortunately, you can't get the benefits into the body unless you ensure you deliver properly. And there's the two major ways that are out there in terms of improving the bioavailability of turmeric, or the way we're doing it with phospholipid, or with the piperine, the black pepper, which I think more frequently you're seeing the black pepper extract, unfortunately. So, but that's not a method I would prefer, because again, if you're taking medications, it could affect the metabolism and the bioavailability of that medication. And when you're taking supplements, you shouldn't have to worry about those things.
Absolutely. I'm excited about this. I really am. And I know I'm not the only one. If you take it regardless of whether or not it's on sale, I buy this even when it's not on Today's Special price, and it's never been on Today's Special price. So this is obviously our day, especially if you take it every day as I do. As I said earlier, I originally started taking it for my joints. So for those of us out there who do have those joint concerns, but then, you know, listen, whether it's drinking alcohol or taking prescription medication, the side benefits for my liver and for my eyes and, you know, digestive properties and those soothing components, I say why not? Especially since we are saving more than we have ever saved on this product. It is also a customer pick. This 360 is not a size that Andrew normally does. He's doing it for today and today only as a Today's Special. And wow, wow, wow. You know, when I looked at this earlier, look, it is far less to get the 360 than it is to even buy the 240 after today.
It's just a little bit more than the normal price on the 120.
Right.
But this is the most we've ever manufactured of this product.
I bet.
And it's because it's a Today's Special. And the time is really right. It's one of those ingredients that initially when I talked about it, no one could pronounce turmeric, let alone curcuminoids or curcumin. And now everyone pretty much understands what turmeric and the relationship to curcuminoids are. And again, this product is standardized to 95% curcuminoids, but then we go one step further. We make sure that they're complexed with fat to enhance their bioavailability. And by enhance, not increase it by 5 or 10%, but by 2,900%, by almost 3,000%. That's the difference it makes. And what we really basically did is we kept it natural. We took a page out of sort of the Indian cookbook when they make stews in India, and they use turmeric is something that shows up at almost every meal. And actually at my house now, if Muriel makes an egg white frittata or an egg white omelet, what does she do? She puts turmeric into the egg whites.
Oh, neat.
And everybody thinks there's egg yolk in there as well.
Oh, sure.
Because it gives it this yellow color, also gives it a great flavor. And of course, when she makes and she usually makes it with olive oil and things, it gets complexed with fat. So there's all sorts of great ways. At my house now, turmeric is something that we use as a standard spice with everything. It's not spicy. In fact, some of the best research that I was reading today, I was going through a whole research package on it, relates to the digestive system and how supportive it is for the digestive system. The digestive system, in fact, it's concentrated in the digestive system after absorption. So whether you want the benefits, the supportive or protective benefits for the liver, whether you want it for, again, we talked about the brain, there isn't a system, a vital system in the body that pretty much escapes turmeric. And great research was just published recently on the benefits for the eye. So turmeric, most of us are grabbing it or interested in it. If I read some reviews here, I think most of the reviews talk about its benefits, its soothing benefits for joints. I certainly love it for that reason. The other reasons are things that are less tangible, whether it's for my digestive system or for my liver or for my brain. Those are the more, intangible long-term benefits that the studies talk about. In terms of our joints, this is something this is my 1, 2, 3 punch with glucosamine, chondroitin, turmeric, and marine collagen peptides in terms of supporting my joints.
Can I ask you, because I've got joint issue. I actually take one in the morning and one at night. That's perfectly fine?
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, most people take 1 capsule daily.
Right.
Some people take 1 capsule with each meal. There's a review I read earlier today when I was glancing through the stack of reviews that someone, for whatever reason, could no longer take some medications and things like that. Not that this replaces drugs or medications or anything. And they were taking, I think, 4 capsules twice a day.
Oh, wow.
But again, it's not harmful. It's not a drug. It's not a medicine, but it does exert these soothing, beneficial effects. And that's anything we could do to support our body, as hard as our body works on our behalf. And as much as I started almost 2 hours ago, I started saying that the aging process is just not kind. Even those of us who get out of here in the best shape possible, and as they say, none of us get out of here alive, that even those of us who get out of here in the best shape possible, it's a challenge. And most of what I talk about are products that are designed and intended to help us handle those challenges with a little bit more grace, to use our intelligence, to use our free will and our ability to make intelligent choices, to make the process of aging or just the process of living, the human condition. I think it was in Buddha who had said, what is this? I think that basically, essentially, life is suffering. And at the moment you learn that, I guess life gets easy. So life is just fraught with challenges, and most of the products that I produce are just designed to help us deal with those challenges in a more graceful fashion.
Absolutely. So, Andrew, I know we have only a couple minutes left in this show. What would you like to show before we're out of time?
Well, I could read a couple of reviews very quickly.
Okay, perfect.
And then before we run along, because I didn't read any reviews, just some of the science.
Okay, sounds good.
But just, you will notice a difference. My husband and I noticed a discernible improvement with joint discomfort from this product. I was waiting for a sale before repurchasing, and we noticed we were taking over-the-counter aids again on a daily basis. A few days after we started taking turmeric 400 again, the joint discomfort was greatly minimized.
Wow.
I have already recommended this product to my mom and her friends. Thank you, Andrew Lessman. I love this product. I've been experiencing discomfort in my wrist. I take 4 capsules in the AM and PM and can function without discomfort all day. Driving, carrying groceries, actually this wasn't the one, playing cards, but someone else is doing the same thing, and doing things on the computer, which were impossible before and now doable. Thanks to Andrew Lessman. Thank you from Barbie in Michigan. Forgotten treasure. I have added the turmeric 400 to my regimen and was happy with it. However, when I ran out, I just forgot to reorder. I saw it during one of Andrew's presentations the last time he was on and thought to reorder it. I started taking it on Wednesday, expecting to notice something within a month or so. To my great pleasure, by just Friday, 3 days, I suddenly started feeling better with less discomfort, and these wonderful benefits have continued. Thank you, Andrew. And just quickly, so everyone knows, no tablets. We don't take the wonderful natural benefits of these ingredients and then crush them into a rock and make a tablet that's hard to absorb, hard to swallow, hard to tolerate, upsetting to your stomach. What we do is we take all the natural, wonderful benefits of that turmeric spice extract and we keep it exactly as it is.
Don't they use that to dye fabrics and stuff too in India?
If you look at that color, I think that color may well be the color. I'm going to confirm this. I'm going to go online.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I think whether it's Buddhist or Hindu robes
right.
That you see are that kind of that orange-yellow color, I believe they use turmeric because it was a traditional remedy, and it was a very valuable commodity then.
Right.
It was a traditional remedy, of course, because they knew all the health benefits associated with it in Ayurvedic medicine and other systems in Asia. Also, it was used as a food color and a clothing color.
Oh, interesting. Now, remember, this has never been done as a today's special. We're seeing sizes and savings that we've never done. I know.
And we are way ahead of where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
In fact, we limited the time we were talking about it tonight because I wanted to make sure we had enough for tomorrow. And after this show, I'll confirm what we have available at our factory. We make everything from scratch. So we'll figure if we'll be able to make more product for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Good to know. I mean, I guess if this has been on your wish list to try, I would definitely recommend it.
And what I often say is, this is not an anti-inflammatory drug or anything like that. But what I often say, just as I talk about chamomile and its soothing benefits, if we have some chamomile tea at night, soothing benefits to go to sleep, I talk about turmeric as being sort of Mother Nature's natural soothing compound for our body. And that's, if you read the reviews, that's what they say, and the reviews on this product are virtually perfect reviews. Another important thing, it's a spice, but turmeric is not a hot spice. This is not something that you're going to take and it's going to be irritating your stomach. In fact, if you just go to any research database and put in turmeric, and you'll see the autofill on your search engine will fill in things like gastrointestinal or stomach or things like that. So turmeric is very soothing, very supportive to the digestive system. In fact, that's pretty much where it was targeted initially in Ayurvedic medicine.
And so the more you know, the more you're going to be compelled, and we'll love to take it. And doing it today at the lowest price in history, first time ever is today's special. So you'll see an encore of Andrew and I next, but you are back at 12 noon.
12 noon tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you for a great start to our day as always.